Hey, what's up, everybody? Platform Disciple here, and today we are in my basement. It's just more convenient for me. It's a little cooler down here, and there's less background noise I have to worry about from people, walking around the house and things. But anyways, we're bringing you another deck tech today, featuring one of the new cards, of course. And the card we're looking at today is Taiga, Combat Reconstructor. 1 purity, 2 costs, 6 morale costs, unique character, and while she is deployed, if one of your artificial characters dies, all of your characters get +1/+1. I think this card is really, really strong. As a matter of fact, we're using 1 in the command zone and 3 in the deck. The deck itself is not really anything different than what you'd expect from a typical Genesis Industries aggro deck, and there are a few exceptions to that statement, but we're going to go through it. So first we've got Support Drone, which is just super good to have in the command zone because turn 1 we can use Alita, our other commander, another super good card to have in the command zone, to give it +3/+3, and then turn 2 it can come down, give itself +3/+3, and then we can give it another +3/+3. That's one of our options for us, which is going to put it at 11 power, hitting hard on turn 2. Now, the deck itself is pretty straightforward. We have very low cost characters, which is great for Taiga because the more characters I have out, the more people that get buffed, also the greater chance so like Cannon Fodder goes from a card that is completely worthless to a card that when it dies, gives all of my characters +1/+1, and it also is a body that receives +1/+1 when other characters die, provided that I have Taiga out. And most of the game between the Taiga in the command zone and 3 in the deck, we're probably going to have a Taiga out. Anyways, moving on. Here's one of the exceptions I was mentioning as to cards that you might not ordinarily find in a Genesis aggro deck. So this card, typically it's so weird that people just use it in its own kind of niche deck where you use Hakim to give it unstoppable, to bypass the untouchable effect to give it unstoppable. Do I not Hakim? We'll find him. Thought I knew I had a spell Hakim. It's with an H. Keem. Anyways, that's hardly a big point I want to make, but that's what people typically use Logarithmatron for. Make it like 100 and then sweep in for a bazillion damage all at once. But in the deck that I'm using here, it's another 1-drop. It has Untouchable, which is super, super good. And it can take all of the AoE effects, AoE buffs that my deck provides. Taiga we've already mentioned, but we'll cut to it right now. We're going to say that we've got 5 different Lukas, 2 of the Angel Hybrid one, and 3 of Luka Combat Mechanic. So the odds of Logarithmatron getting pretty big without even using its exhaust effect are pretty high. The exhaust effect, in testing this deck, have used it only a couple times, like against control decks that I know just can't handle a one-shot wonder untouchable character, but might be able to handle some of my other characters. It's something to fall back onto, but we'll move on. We've got 3 kinetically overloaded drones. It's another 1-drop. Don't need to explain 1-drops in this deck. We're using them just as bodies to carry buffs. Support Drone, yep. We've got Adaptive Construct. It's our only actual body 2-drop, because our other 2-drop is Taiga, who very rarely is going to come out of the support zone. So we want to protect her as much as we can. 3-drop slot, we only have 2 3-drops. It's Treasure Hunter, and that's just to fill up our hand again a little bit. Splitter Robot, of course. Can't go wrong with Splitter Robot just about anywhere. It's just good. The one notable thing is that we have a high morale cost in our deck. We've got Splitter Robot and we've got Logarithmatron. That might be this deck's weakness, but the thing is, it's pretty fast. You don't typically have to worry about it. Okay, as for the other cards in the deck, we have 3 Controlled Temporal Anomaly, which is our only card in the deck that even resembles removal. And sometimes we're going to be using it on Luca just to get that buff effect again. That's super awesome. But typically we're going to use this to get something out of the support zone or deal with a card that's been buffed a lot and reset its buff. For example, the Tulio deck. Why isn't this typing? Tulio. If this guy's super big, you just get rid of him for a turn, and then he's set back to his original stats. We've got 3 scouting missions, which gives us more characters to buff with Luca and Taiga. They also have flying, which is nice. Here's another AoE buffer effect, Flux Capacitor. And then we have the remaining 2 cards are pretty interesting because these are kind of like our late game fallback cards that if we can't just win the aggro war because their deck's too defensive, Omnimind and Omnitron give us sort of an inevitability factor where if the game goes on long enough, we kind of just win because these 2 cards are just going to continuously generate value for us. Omnimind kind of functions from mid to late game, but Omnitron obviously only works very deep in the late game. And just to quickly justify Omnitron, you might notice that I don't actually have enough artifacts in the deck to reduce its cost by enough, but the grind factor with Omnimind is if we hit a point in the game where we can't progress further, but they can't really kill us, then we just start producing mechanisms. And once you have just a few mechanisms, so you're going to have Omnimind, that's 1, and then you need 4 other artifacts. You could have Flux Capacitor, or you could take 2 turns to generate 2 mechanisms per turn, and then you'll be able to play the Omnitron. And for those of you who question that decision, I have won so many games with this one of Omnitron that it's worth it. And if you think, oh, well, this seems like a bad decision, why would I run that? Try running it, and if it's ever getting in your way, you just toss it to Flux Capacitor or Treasure Hunter, and then you don't have to deal with the card again. Heck, you can even toss it to Logarithmatron if you want. But like I said, that's Logarithmatron. We're just playing as a 1-drop with Untouchable. We're not really using its effect. So we're going to jump in the game and show you exactly what this deck kind of looks like. Okay, so we're looking at double Flame Dawn 1 Veror, which notably means that they're not going to be using Death Blast. They're not using Mass Death. This 1 Veror is something that's substantially less troubling to me than the 2 Veror. And right off the bat, we're going to we might go for a cheeky trade on this guy. Because I don't really care if one of my guys dies because we're just going to put out, like, you know, a lot more. Oh. Ooh. Big mistake on my part. I should have done the traditional start of just buff it and move on with my life. But that's that. The good news is Taiga has 1 less Flame Dawn Commando to worry about. But we're going to probably be on the defensive for a while now, because we're going to lose a lot of tempo. But beautiful thing is that with Alita, we can really pump up our bots very quickly. We're going to put out an adaptive construct, and I don't think this game is going to have time to drop 2 mana on a Flux Capacitor charge. So that's why we're getting rid of this card. I could get rid of this because it's 5 costs and I want to like focus on low cost, but Flux Capacitor has no impact on the game unless I take a full turn to exhaust it, which costs 2, and it also only has an impact proportional to the number of characters I have out, which might be very low because I'm throwing things into the defense zone. So he's giving us a little time because he's aware he's going to lose quite a few guys to my defense if he does that. This is a really weak turn for us because we have no real plays. I can try to cheese him with cannon fodder, just like a little bit. Like if he plays Flag Bearer, dang, it's not Flag Bearer, but you guys know who I'm talking about. He's 4 costs, 6/6 with charge, and he's gonna put the first guy in the defense zone back in the support zone. If he plays that, then we're in good shape. I think I'm gonna play Luca here. I could also put out Taiga, but the thing is Taiga gets commandoed very easily if you know, if she doesn't get buffed. And if I put out Luca here, no, I think I'm gonna put out Taiga, and we're gonna buff this guy to make it so both of our guys can trade pretty well. So unfortunately, Taiga is completely vulnerable to the commando right now. The good news is that he's kind of lost his tempo lead, and I can recover fully with something like scouting mission, Luca, port the Luca, and then we have a lot of big dudes. He also just overcharged his Calamity, and he's probably not running 2, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. And I definitely was not playing around Calamity against the double Flamed on deck. So he just took an ace in the hole and got rid of it. Okay. And we're going to get mad buffs on our guys, which is good. Bad news is we take a little damage, but I think it's something that we can completely recover from. And I think we're going to do the double Luca effect. So we have a lot of guys out. The other option is play support drone, Luca, and then Alita. We don't have enough room for the anomaly. Yeah, we'll give this a shot and see how this works instead. There it is. Is it flag bearer? Was I right? Let's see. We'll see in just a second at least. He's getting as many of my guys out, and I was right. It was flag bearer. It just didn't sound right for some reason. We're taking huge beats, but he's got nothing left. As far as I'm concerned, I think the game is over, that I don't think he can recover. And I don't think he's going to be able to get in for that extra damage. Because, like I said, 1 Varroa Purity, so he loses a lot of those direct damage effects. Now, this is one of those random times where I might throw Taiga out, because I don't think he's not going to stop that. And we're leaving all the guys in case he does some kind of big stumble effect. But I really don't want to have to deal with that. We're going to port out the Omnimine. We only need 1. We don't have any other than this one yet, but we have 2 more in the deck, and I don't think I need it to win this game. We'll wait and see, though. Maybe I'll regret it. Now, I drew into more character fuel, basically, is what this deck needs after a certain point. And I believe I'm going to start getting aggressive. And by that, I mean I'm still leaving like 5 guys in the defense zone, but you can never be too sure against Flamed On. We're going to port out Luca. And that'll give the buff to the scouting drones that are about to come out. I'm wondering what kind of trick this guy might have up his sleeve. So if he played Intimidating Rally, he could get rid of all of my guys this turn for 4 if he pitched his whole hand. In which case, he'd still have 4 remaining, so he could do 10, 18, 25. Yeah, I think he could. Yeah, he can kill me next turn if he does that. So I'm getting into danger range, but once again, I have drawn more fuel, and if I keep playing defensively, I think I'm fine. I might err on the side of caution and put out Alita. You know, we'll err on the side of caution by putting out Taiga. And we're dropping everything, because like I said, there's no way he's running 2 Calamities in a Flamed On deck. And if he is, then, well, because what he could do this turn, just to give a little further explanation, is this turn he could drop 9 mana into get 1 more resource, and then the next turn Calamity and do a total board reset, which would lose me the game outright. I could not recover from that at this point in the game. But we'll wait and see what he does. So he's all in the assault zone now. Is he gonna intimidating rally all my guys? He's intimidating rally 5 of them, which means I won't die. Oh, rough. Didn't expect me to move that guy out, and flashbang had no effect, which means I eat most of his characters for breakfast, basically. And I can't imagine him winning anymore. I've already said that, but like, Flame Dawn's a scary faction. It can pull so many games just out of nowhere. But he's only got 2 guys in play. He's only got 19 health. What could possibly happen? Just in case we're loading everything up. Because he's more likely to cheese kill me, and I don't know how he would do it, than he is to defend here. Like, what could he even possibly do right now? 37 damage, and he's only 1 Veror. Yeah, he's playing defensive, and he just doesn't have enough health anymore. So I think he didn't even have enough to put himself back in with the siphoning structure. Or siphon structure. Okay, and we're gonna play another game just to demonstrate the deck a little more. While we're here waiting, let's go over a couple little quick things. One is, I haven't said this in a video yet, but well, I guess I'll say it anyways. The draft Rift Run ladder, if you're in top 100, you get rewards at the end of the week now, which is a substantial improvement over just the you get the top 50. So it's a lot easier to do now, and I'm really happy about that, because getting top 50 is not always easy, but I think getting top 100 is a very manageable task for most people. I think top 100, you just need to get like it might be like 7 or 8 wins or something like that, which is completely manageable. So he has got a really cool command zone, because now I don't know how much you guys have seen this or not, but this is the Infinity Border, and the Infinity Border is only given if you get number one on the draft charts at the end of the week. I myself have not done that before, so I don't have any Infinity Borders cards, but Orisolve is a very good player, and he also plays a lot, so he's managed to get himself, I think, quite a few, because I've played against him a few times, and I've seen a lot of Infinity Borders coming from him. It wouldn't even shock me if he's got this Grounded Angel in the command zone just to, you know, like, get as much Infinity Border out as possible. Another thing I've noticed when I've played with Orisolve is he tends to disconnect. I don't know if it's a problem with his internet, or maybe he's located in a weird area or something. But if he disconnects frequently, oh, okay, we're good. But if he disconnects frequently, I'll just cut that out of the video. Alright, so unfortunately Orisolve didn't reconnect, and although I would like to play out this match, I don't want to waste Lord knows how much time. I actually do really like the Claim Your Win feature. For one thing, it gives you a timer so you can see, you know, exactly how long you have until you just, you know, move on. But it also means if someone else disconnects, they have time to get back into the game instead of just auto losing. All right, so here's another all-star Chalkbot and Orisolve. Super all-star guys. Now we got to deal with Gabrielle. Post nerf Gabrielle. We'll see what that's like, because I have not seen her since the nerf. And I think we're gonna go with the traditional start of just buff that. So then we don't have to worry about a lightning, or excuse me, not a lightning blast, a flame dawn commando like the previous game. So he's got Chef out early. That's something. This is one of those unfortunate games where I've drawn all my Taigas, or I have one more, but good news is that we can ditch it with the treasure bot. Taiga is out. Now we have to deal with that piece of load of... What a card. What a card, guys. I can give myself a little time for one turn, but, you know, it's one turn. One thing that's good is, I think I mentioned this in the previous video where I even talked about Gabrielle as a card, is that I can use Alita still, and also if I get to that point, I can just churn out the 6/6 bodies with Omnimind every turn if I think that's going to be more resource efficient for me. I kind of want to play Taiga because he's going to kill my guys at some point, but at the same time, I think I'd rather just go for some extra damage right now. Because one way we can deal with Gabrielle is just outrace him. Oh. The bomb bot. But I've got, at least for this turn, most of my guys out of bomb bot range. Now here's something really kind of unfortunate. Cannon fodder. Ugh. That card went from completely fine to like, ugh. Ugh. We're gonna actually put this here in case he goes into the assault zone with that. I can reap the rewards with Taiga. Actually, on that note, why don't I do this? So that if he puts it in the assault zone, I actually get a cheesy kill. And by the way, this is the punishment that we have to deal with for running next to no removal in the deck. If I get mass deathed, oh okay. He's getting low, but he just got Azael or Aziel. I don't know how to pronounce it really, which is unfortunate. I'm gonna probably just pull back this turn because he'll probably pop it. And see, there's not really any resource efficient way to do what I want to do. So we're gonna play Omnimind. That at least puts some of the cards actually back at the starting cost, which is a little bonus. But in addition, like I said before, I can start generating, you know, dudes. Heaven's Assistance, ooh, that's a lot of guys there. And we've got Taiga. We've got our log bots. I'm taking this turn to just play as much junk as I can. Really, really take advantage of the turn where Gabrielle is not in play. And you know what, screw it. If he mass deaths us, that stinks, but we're still in it with Omnimind. Yeah, he knows better than to just let me go through, I guess. Luca is a big buff, so we're gonna lose our little dude here. Oh wait, I forgot I did that, my bad. Okay. Those dudes getting bigger. And I think it's time to start, the odds of us getting Omnitron, or excuse me, Omnimind, nope, Omnitron, I was right the first time, are pretty low. I'm gonna port Gabrielle out this turn because, I don't think I need to explain why. It's gonna let me play my stuff. I'm moving Luca to the back here because I want the mechanism to spawn next to these chumps, because another way we can deal with Gabrielle in this deck is we can just make the Logarithmatrons really big, which is going to be good. get rid of that. Guns of Goliath. It's really buffing his guys, but we get to really take advantage of Taiga whenever our guys die. He's getting super low. So I think this is probably going to be game over for him very soon. And we can move the mechanism between the log bots to give us something to fall back onto. Or we could actually just try to end the game. It's hard to tell what's the better option, because I know he's going to move more stuff to the defense zone now. I'm going to make unending drones. And question is, should I move these out and play Luca? It's just that they don't get strong enough to kill his defenders. So you know what? I've changed my mind. We're gonna put these out, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna give the +2/+2 buff, and we're gonna play Luca. So now these guys are both strong enough that they can kill either Enya or Luca, provided that those come out. And I think we're going all in on this. If he mass deaths us, well, it's awkward. Oh wait, he can't mass death us. He's only got 1 Veror purity from Enya. Whoa. That is the first time I have seen this card played ever. Die Another Day. I've seen the card before, but oh, man, I never would have played around that. That's bad, because now he's got Azael, which is gonna give him really a whole nother shot at the game. We're actually gonna put Luca there because I don't care if she dies. I actually kind of want her to die. And we're gonna make a unending drone, and we're gonna make an unending drone. And we're done with our turn. I might lose this game. I wonder how many... He can only run 1. He can only run 1 because of Enya. Wasn't this card supposed to remove itself? Die Another Day is removed from the game. It looks very much to be in his graveyard right now. Could be a bug. Probably is a bug. I know in one of my more recent videos I did accuse the Noble Protector Cassiel to be a bug, but I think this really is a bug. So how much health does he heal up? Is he gonna heal the full 71 or whatever it is? How much does this heal? 35. So he's gonna die anyways? Huh. Well, that was an interesting game, to be sure. I had a lot of fun with that one. The cool thing about Enya decks is you have no idea what to expect from them because they're going to be playing anything. It's kind of like the Reno Jackson decks from Hearthstone or something like that. It's on a whole different level, I think. I only recently got an Enya myself, and I did build a couple Enya decks, but because I'm focusing on featuring the new cards right now, we're going to take a look at that another time. And I hope you guys liked this video, and just for the record, how competitive is the deck that I just showed you? I think that it's very good. I think it's probably on par with the other decks I've released recently in terms of competitiveness. It doesn't have as much versatility as some decks, because it's basically you just throw things in the assault zone. If you're against something that's just board wipes, it's tough, but you do have the Omnimind and Omnitron to fall back on. So I think it's probably like a top tier deck. As far as Genesis goes, Genesis has always been just a very good sort of deck to be triple purity in my opinion. It's also a good splash faction. So compared to like the old sort of Genesis decks that were similar, I think it's better that obviously Taiga improves the deck, and with the addition of Taiga, it allows you to get a little crazier by putting in like the logarithmatrons in particular was something that you wouldn't be using. I'd seen some people using the 0-1 with haste, the frickin' what is he even called? This will be an easy way to find it. Cannon fodder. I'd seen that before, but cannon fodder gets new life breathed into him by Taiga. So overall, super strong deck. If you wanna go out and win some games, I think I can recommend it. It's also very easily to pilot, so to speak. It's a good deck. I've spent too much time talking on this. I've wasted like at least another minute of your lives saying that the deck's pretty good. But that's all I have to say for today, and I hope you like the video, and I will see you next time. Peace out.